So in this video, I am going to be cooking for you my take on a Greek chicken plate. So I've been cooking this recipe since I was about 17 years old. My first trip, lad's holiday to Zakynthos, back in 1997, I believe it was, giving my age away a little bit there. And I literally fell in love with the Greek chicken. I don't know what it was. I don't know if it's just simply the nostalgia of being by the sea and holiday mode, or if it's just that beautiful blend of simple, elegant, well-executed ingredients. But every time this gets me, and I would say this gets cooked in my home kitchen at least once a fortnight. So ingredients-wise, I'm cooking for one, just for me today. So I've got 300 grams of chicken thighs. Now, I prefer chicken thighs. You can use chicken breasts or other cuts. For me, chicken thighs win every time. It's that perfect blend of flavour, fat. It doesn't dry out, and I think it lends so well to the ingredients for the Greek chicken. We then have lemon. I'm keeping it here because we're going to also use that for something else. We've got here garlic. Now, I've got a garlic bulb and dried garlic as well, so garlic granules. You can use either. It's a personal preference, really. I'm quite happy with both. I don't really have a preference, as long as you kind of cook the garlic out. Some people do prefer just a kind of fresh garlic bulb, but just grate it in so it gets a nice mix. You then have yogurt. So I've got 60 grams of Greek yogurt. So again, it's a thick, creamy Greek yogurt. You can have kind of lighter versions of this. I've just gone for the normal fat version, just as a personal preference. I'm not on a diet at the moment, so I'm going with that. Smoked paprika. You can use normal paprika, just a sweet paprika. This is smoked paprika. Again, personal preference. I've dropped in there just a little bit of onion granules as well. You don't have to have the onion granules. It's a little secret recipe of mine that I like to put in a lot of my cooking because I think it's such an underrated ingredient. Oregano. You can't have Greek food without oregano. So this is dried oregano. You need about a teaspoon of that for the chicken. And then we have the salt and pepper already mixed, just about half a teaspoon of each is all you need. And then just a little dash of red wine vinegar. So that's everything required for the actual chicken itself. We're then going to have the tzatziki. So again, Greek yogurt. I've got 125 grams of the same Greek yogurt. We have the lemon juice, got some olive oil here. Don't shoot me down, it's not Greek olive oil, it's Italian, but it is still very good olive oil. It's an extra virgin olive oil. Fresh dill, fresh mint, and then again, garlic. You can go with the dried garlic granules again. Personally, for the tzatziki, I actually prefer the sort of zing of fresh garlic bulbs. We then have the Greek salad. So, cucumber. Half of that will actually be used grated into the tzatziki, the other half of the Greek salad. A red onion here, we'll probably use half or just under half a kind of the one portion. And then tomatoes, so I like using these baby plum tomatoes. I just think they're really kind of got quite a sweet, real kind of juicy flavour. In Greece, the actual large tomatoes are so nice. I struggle to find the quality of those in this country, so I tend to go for what I think works best. So I'm sticking with these. Feta, and again, feta, you can get salad cheese, which is a similar thing to feta. I prefer the real kind of Greek feta. It's available in pretty much all supermarkets. This one's barrel aged, so it's got an extra bit of flavour to it, a little bit maturer, and the kind of salty hit of that I think works so perfectly. Again, we'll use some of the oregano with the Greek salad, the lemon juice, the olive oil, and then these are Greek Kalamata olives. Again, you can use other olives if you prefer. I prefer the Kalamata olives. They're really salty. They go so perfectly with that Greek salad, with the feta and all the other ingredients in there. And I've gone for ones with the stones still in, but you can get them pitted. So again, that's down to a personal preference. Right, so let's get into this. If you are following at home, you can pause for a second whilst you get all your kit, but I'm going to get into the chicken to start with. So I'm just going to move some of these out of the way now. We will come back to you lot later. let's start with that chicken. Now, I am just going to pop on a glove just to help me mix up that chicken. But what I will do is I'm just going to cut up this lemon so we can come back to that in a moment. So let's get in with all the ingredients. Salt and pepper, put that yogurt in. So 60 grams of that Greek yogurt. I mean, you can use other yogurts. I think the Greek yogurt is pretty much the most elite yogurt on the planet, and it seems to work so well with the chicken. So that's in there. Move that out of the way. Little squeeze of lemon. If you are just squeezing it straight from the actual fruit, just be wary of any pips in there. This side doesn't have any. We're going to go in. We're going to use the dried garlic powder for this. Is the paprika. So this is a smoked paprika. You can use sweet, and then I've got the onion granules in there. The oregano, we're going to use half of this, so it's around about a teaspoon for this portion. That's the red wine vinegar. Just again, just adds a bit of acidity to that. And then just a little squeeze of extra virgin olive oil. Now, you don't have to use yogurt. I think yogurt works so well. It just really helps to kind of tenderize the meat. It makes it really juicy, really succulent, adds a lot of flavour, and it just kind of keeps it so flavourful. So I always like to use a bit of yogurt with the chicken. Now, this, you want to really marinate it. I mean, I'm going to say at least 4 hours. Just drop that in the bin there. Ideally overnight. Oh, it already smells great. We haven't even started cooking it yet. Now that is ready to be cooked. Now, how do we cook this chicken? There's a variety of ways you can cook it. It can be done in the oven, under the grill, on a barbecue. If the weather was a bit nicer, that's probably how I'd be doing it. Can be done in the air fryer. Again, you know how much I love the air fryers, and quite often that is the way I do it. But today, we're just going to do it on a nice griddle pan, on a relatively high heat. I find that just chars off the edges so nicely, still gives me that kind of nostalgia from being by the sea on holiday in Greece, enjoying the sun. Right, so let's just get this on. So just going to let that heat up for a second. And then I'm just going to go straight into the pan. So remember, we have already got some oil on the chicken. So I'm not going to oil the pan. Right, brilliant. So that's getting nice and warm. So let's just layer that on. So I'm using skinless and boneless chicken thigh fillets. I just find actually they're easier to cook, and already hear that sizzle, and they tick all boxes. So, you know, there's no bones, there's no skin, they're just so much easier to prepare, no faffing around, and a lot easier to eat. Right, let's get this bowl out of the way. And next up, what we'll do is we'll do the tzatziki. So this amazing, creamy tzatziki sauce is so perfect with this dish. So if we just move some of these items out of the way. Right, so there's 125 grams of the Greek yogurt is already in there. And what we will do is, so I've got dill and mint. You don't need to necessarily use both. I like the flavour of both, so I go in with dill and mint, and I go a fairly sort of generous amount. So if you just take the dill leaves off of the kind of thicker stems, you don't want those in because they are quite bitter. Just pull them apart. And again, same with the mint, you're looking just for the leaves. So you don't want the stem. Certain herbs like coriander, I think the stems have actually a lot of flavour in. But when it comes to mint, dill, actually the stems can be quite bitter. So, right, we will just give this a nice, relatively kind of rough chop. They don't need to be fine, because because you do want it to be chunky. You do want to kind of have that texture with the tzatziki. Right, so that all goes in. Now, cucumber. So we're just going to take the end off of here and just cut this in half. Now, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to remove the seeds from the middle of the cucumber, because that's where it contains a lot of water, and you want this to be quite a nice, thick, creamy yogurt sauce, so you don't want the water in it. So I'm just going to grab a spoon and we will scrape that out. Now, I don't like to waste anything, so I do tend to keep this pulp, which is perfect for, I mean, a variety of things, really. It can go into smoothies. Like I say, there's a lot of content there in terms of water. Some people use it for skincare. There's a variety of things you can use this for. So I do like to keep that, set it aside. I'm sure you'll find a need for it somewhere. And then just going to cut that smaller, grab my grater, and we're just going to grate this straight in. Now, you've got the different sizes here. I quite like the cucumber to be relatively chunky, so I'm going in with a slightly larger, chunkier section on the grater and get that on. Again, when it comes to the skin, do you keep the skin on or take it off? Well, actually, unless it's a cucumber that has the kind of waxy skin where it's actually got a coating on it, then you'd probably want to remove that, I would say. But in this country, we don't tend to get the waxy skins on them, so you can leave the skin in there, and it does add texture and flavour as well to that. We will then have the garlic. Just remove the skin from the bulb. There you go. Now, I don't know about you, but I think garlic smells amazing, whether it's cooked or raw. So we're going in with that. You don't want to overdo the garlic because this is raw garlic, so it will have quite a strong flavour to it. If it's well balanced, the flavour works in absolute perfect harmony with all the other ingredients in there. So I've not used the whole bulb, I've just used half of that. So we will set that aside. That looks amazing already. Now all that needs in there is a squeeze of lemon. Beautiful. Right, I was getting cocky earlier about the pips, but I have dropped one in, so let's just take that out because nobody wants that in their food, do they? And then a little bit of this extra virgin olive oil. There are other things you can add. Again, a little dash of red wine vinegar can go in there, adds a little bit of acidity, but I find the acid from the lemon is more than enough. Oh, look at that, thick, creamy tzatziki, perfect with any Greek dish. In fact, with any dish really, but we are having Greek today. So I'm going to set that aside. We're just going to check on the chicken, and then we'll get into that Greek salad. So, all right, should hold that. You can already see that chicken just charring up really nicely on this griddle pan. Oh, that smells amazing. As with most pans, even with barbecues, you'll find certain areas will have the hot spots. So I think I've identified the center of the pan is probably the hottest. So I'm just going to make sure I rotate the chicken just to make sure all areas do get cooked nice and evenly. Right, time for the Greek salad. I'm just going to grab another bowl and we will get into the Greek salad. So we'll start off with onion. Now, with the Greek salad, it is pretty much traditionally the red onions. They just have a slightly different flavour to the kind of sweet white onions or the Spanish onions. And they do work really well with this dish. So, like I said, probably about half of the onion. We don't need any more than that. We'll just peel off those tough outer layers because they never taste nice. And then I'm going to do this in bite-sized chunks. So I will keep the cucumber, the tomatoes, everything in kind of similar sized chunks. So I'm thinking similar size to, let's say, the Kalamata olives. There you go. And then just break all that down as it goes in to the bowl. Perfect. Okay, that looks great. Cucumber, again, we'll just scrape the pulp out. Set those seeds aside for your skincare routines, your smoothies, or anything else. I mean, it's even good on a compost heap in the garden. Return it to nature. There you go. Right, so again, similar sized chunks. So I'm going to go across 3 sections down one side. Relatively sort of cube-sized pieces. Let's go in with the other half. Lovely. The tomatoes. So again, I'm going for the kind of smaller baby plum tomatoes, real kind of sweet flavour. All I'm going to do is just cut them in half. If you're using a larger tomato, then you'd probably want smaller pieces. And again, if you're having a larger tomato, you might not necessarily have the ends in with there. There you go. Let's go in with all those tomatoes. Amazing. And then the Kalamata olives. We'll put all of those in there because I love olives. Just going to give this a quick mix before we then go in. You can add a bit of salt. I'm not actually adding any salt to this because of the olives, the feta. I don't think it needs any salt at all. So squeeze of the lemon juice. There's plenty in there. Half of a lemon has done enough for this one meal actually today. The extra virgin olive oil. Little pinch of oregano. Say a little pinch, more like a punch. And give that a really good stir. Right, so that looks amazing. And then what we'll do, we'll finish it off. As we plate it up, the feta will go on top. Right, let's go check on that chicken. I can hear it sizzling. I can smell that cooking away. That is cooking nicely. We are not far off done with this now. It's still so juicy. You can literally see the juice still coming off of that chicken. Oh my God, that is amazing. Right, so that is not far off done now. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to clear up a little bit and we will start getting ready to plate up. Just move some of these items out of the way. Just get that feta ready. As much as I love feta, I probably don't need a whole block for myself. I will have half though. Right. I'm just going to cut that into a couple of chunks. Let's go one more. There you go. Right. Grab my plate. And then just the last thing to cook off, we'll just heat up the Greek flatbread. Right, let's check on it. Okay, I think we are about done with this chicken now. Oh my God. Now that, to me, literally smells like holiday. Wow, look at that. Of course, you can chop this up beforehand. You can skewer it if you're doing it on a barbecue. I like to cook it whole and then just kind of chop it into pieces. So, right, so I'm just going to take this off of the heat now. Let me just get my chopping board. I can't wait to dig into this. Right, let's take that off. I will chop that up for you in a moment. Just before we do that. Now I'm going to leave the pan as is. And I'm going to go straight on with the flatbread. Just a tiny bit of oil across it, which I find really kind of helps soften it up. adds a touch of flavour to it. Right, so that probably only needs about a minute or so each side. So we'll leave that there whilst we cut up the chicken. Right. Join me here. Oh, wow, that looks so good. There you go. Like I say, it's about 300 grams. It's quite a generous sized portion, but I'm very generous when I come to feeding myself. So we will go with that full amount. Oh, wow, look at that. Right, so just to start plating this up. So I'm kind of doing this like a Greek plate. You can do this like a sort of street food style wrap, like a gyros, where you have it all kind of straight into that flatbread. I quite like this side, especially if I'm kind of going to sit down and eat. It's a bit civilized. It's a nice way to eat. So Greek salad. Make sure you get a good mix of everything in there, especially the olives. Oh, look at that. Big chunks of feta. On that, I will add a little bit more oregano. Beautiful. And then this amazing creamy Greek sauce. There's that tzatziki. Right next to the chicken. All right, let's just give the flatbread a quick flip. 30 seconds left on that. Right, start clearing up. Let's just get this out the way. Right, I'm going to say that is ready now. And because I'm not having it as a whole wrap, I am just going to cut this into nice quarter-size pieces. So you can see that olive oil has just added a nice sort of golden colour and just helped cook that off perfectly. Right, there you go. So into quarters. And then we shall just layer that on there. That is amazing. Right, turn this off. Let's get this out of the way. Oh my God, look at that. There you have it. Right, let's give it a go, shall we? Okay, without further ado, I am gonna, right, let's try a bit of the chicken first. Oh my God. Remember, definitely let that marinate for at least 4 hours because the flavour really gets in there. It's so tender, so much flavour to it. Right, now let's just try a bit of chicken, a bit of tzatziki. Perfect. There you go. Wow, now that is amazing. Now, if you've tried this dish before, or if you've tried it after seeing this video, please let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Lets me know if you do like videos like this. I will keep making more. Please do give this a try. This is amazing. See you soon.